The instant I understood what had occurred, my heart raced, and I experienced a strange combination of confusion, surprise, and an undeniable excitement. It all started so innocently, just another regular day. I was home alone, enjoying the rare tranquility, and decided to take a bath to relax. I didn't realize that my son's friend, who had come over earlier, had not yet left. It was mid-afternoon and the house had a calm, almost serene atmosphere. The warm water filled the tub, and as I sank into it, the day's tension began to fade. I closed my eyes, allowing myself to unwind completely. The water was comforting, wrapping around me like a cozy blanket, and for a brief moment I felt entirely at ease. But something felt off. I had an odd sense that I was being watched. At first, I dismissed it, thinking my mind was playing tricks on me. After all, I was alone. Or so I thought. I slowly opened my eyes and scanned the bathroom. Nothing seemed unusual. I leaned back again, trying to regain that sense of calm, but the feeling lingered. My senses were heightened. It was then that I heard the faintest sound, a nearly imperceptible creak of a door. My pulse quickened as I glanced toward the bathroom door. It was slightly ajar. I could have sworn I had closed it when I entered. The realization hit me like a wave. I wasn't alone. Someone had been watching me. I froze, my mind racing with possibilities. Was it my son? No, he wasn't home. Then it clicked. His friend. He had come earlier, but I hadn't heard him leave. My breath caught as the pieces fell into place. He had been in the house the entire time, and now he had seen me. A flood of emotions overwhelmed me, embarrassment, anger, but also something unexpected. An undeniable thrill. There was something illicit about the situation, something that made my heart race in a way I hadn't felt in years. I was flustered, but deep inside, I couldn't deny the strange excitement that stirred within me. I stayed still in the bath, feeling like an eternity passed, unsure of what to do next. Should I confront him? Pretend nothing happened? My mind was a whirlwind of thoughts. The house was eerily silent now, and I wondered if he was still out there, just beyond the door, waiting. The tension was unbearable, yet a part of me didn't want it to end. It was wrong, but that only made it more intense. Slowly, I stood up from the bath, water dripping off my body. I wrapped a towel around myself and stood, staring at the door, my heart pounding. I took a deep breath and opened it. There he was, standing at the end of the hallway, his eyes wide, caught in the act. For a moment, neither of us spoke. The silence between us was heavy, charged with unspoken tension. I didn't know what to say, and neither did he. He looked embarrassed, but there was something else in his eyes, something that reflected what I was feeling. He had been watching me, but I couldn't bring myself to be angry. Instead, I felt drawn to him, something I couldn't quite explain. I stepped out of the bathroom, still clutching the towel around me, and took a step toward him. He didn't move, didn't say a word, but his eyes were fixed on mine, and I could feel the intensity of the moment building. The air was thick with anticipation, as if something was about to happen, something neither of us could stop. Before I knew it, I was standing right in front of him, close enough to feel the heat from his body. I could see the conflict in his eyes, the hesitation, but also the desire. We both knew we were walking a dangerous path. I could feel my heart pounding, each beat growing louder. Then, in a moment that felt both inevitable and surreal, I leaned in, closing the gap between us. His breath caught, and I saw the surprise in his eyes, but he didn't pull away. Instead, he met me halfway, and suddenly we were locked in a kiss that was both passionate and heavy with everything we had been holding back. It was electric, the kind of kiss that leaves you breathless and yearning for more. My mind screamed that it was wrong, that we shouldn't be doing this, but my body didn't care. In that moment, nothing else mattered except the heat between us, the feel of his hands around my waist pulling me closer. Time seemed to freeze as we kissed, lost in the moment. There was something forbidden, intoxicating about it, and I couldn't stop. I knew we were crossing a line, but I didn't care. The thrill was too much to resist. Eventually, we pulled apart, both of us breathing heavily, our faces flushed. For a moment, we stood there, staring at each other, the reality of what had just happened sinking in. I could see the confusion in his eyes, the same confusion I felt. What had we just done? I stepped back, my mind racing. This couldn't be happening. It was wrong on so many levels. But when I looked at him, I knew it wasn't over. There was something between us now, something that couldn't be ignored. We had crossed a line, and there was no turning back. I turned and walked down the hallway, my heart still racing. I didn't look back, but I could feel his gaze on me, the weight of what had just happened hanging in the air. When I reached my bedroom, I closed the door behind me and leaned against it, trying to catch my breath. My mind was a whirlwind of emotions, guilt, excitement, confusion, but one thing was clear. I couldn't stop thinking about him. Over the next few days, I couldn't shake the memory of that moment. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw him standing there, felt the heat of his kiss, the intensity of what we had shared. It was wrong, but it was all I could think about. We didn't speak of it. He came over a few more times, and each time we exchanged awkward glances, but no words were said. The tension between us was palpable, though, and I knew it was only a matter of time before something happened again. And then one day, it did. My son had gone out, leaving us alone in the house. The air was thick with anticipation, both of us knowing what was about to happen, but neither of us willing to make the first move. Finally, he stepped toward me, and without a word, we were in each other's arms again, lost in the heat of the moment. This time there was no hesitation, no second guessing. We both knew what we wanted, and we weren't going to stop. The kiss was even more intense than the last, filled with all the desire we had been holding back. It was reckless, but I didn't care. In that moment, nothing else mattered. The rest of the day passed in a blur of stolen kisses and whispered words. We couldn't keep our hands off each other. The tension that had been building finally found release. It was thrilling, the kind of thrill that leaves you breathless and wanting more. But as the day ended, reality began to set in. I couldn't help but feel a pang of guilt. What were we doing? This was dangerous, and we both knew it. But when I looked at him, I knew I couldn't stop. There was something between us now, something that wouldn't go away, no matter how hard we tried. As the days turned into weeks, our secret affair continued, each stolen moment more intense than the last. We knew it couldn't last forever, that eventually we would have to stop. But neither of us wanted to face that reality. For now, we were content to live in the moment, to enjoy the thrill of the forbidden. But deep down, I knew it couldn't last forever. Eventually, something would have to give. The question was, what would happen when it did? If you like this story, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more thrilling tales like this one.